What's up, everybody? I'm Brandon. You're watching the ADHD Game Dev channel. So cool to have you here. Welcome back if you're a returning visitor. It means so much to me that you chose to come back again. Thank you for that. Thank you. And welcome to all you newbies. I want to talk to you about something I call the 75% problem. This is one that hits me all the time. I don't know if it hits you, but let's figure it out. Let's unpack it. So I find that just by sheer enthusiasm and sheer natural God-given talent and a lot of practice doing things, that I can get through about 75% of a project without even breaking a sweat. I can get something up on its feet and then get going. And what happens is that the novelty of creating something is really great, but the maintenance phase of trying to keep it going and finishing it, not so great. The other thing that I run into is that just because something is in my head, I will start moving just to kind of create it and make it real. And it doesn't mean that I had a plan in mind to finish it. I just wanted to kind of get it out there in the world. Well, if it's successful and it's going well and I was just messing around, I might surprise myself and just stumble into a 75% finished state and not know what to do with the other 25%. The other issue here is that that 25% end of it is either where I didn't plan it or it's not exciting. And especially in game dev, but I think probably in a lot of projects, there's this slog that comes along, this slog at the end of it where it's not fun, it's not exciting, you're doing tedious stuff, and you have a lot of early wins and a lot of early successes because you're going from nothing to something, so that's a 100% change, right? Every change you make is a huge change, and then as it goes along, your focus shrinks and shrinks and shrinks and shrinks and shrinks and shrinks and gets smaller, and you're not making great big changes in your game world anymore. They're all smaller, and that dopamine rush is getting smaller and smaller every time. What are we going to do about it? How are we going to fix it? I'm going to talk to you about how I mitigate it, okay? I don't think we fix it. We're going to mitigate it. We're going to try to improve. I think that, first of all, it's really important to recognize it. Recognize it, know it's coming. Know that, hey, it's going to hit. And I think that knowing is half the battle. Just knowing that it's coming is a big deal. But what I also do is that from one project to the next, and it starts to become like marathon training. It's marathon training. I build up a little bit more strength and a little bit more muscle. The first time I make a game, it's just, oh my gosh, it's a wonder that things are moving on screen, and it's a delight that I got it to work at all. Okay, second project, I'm in it, and I'm adding in the scores and the graphics on screen that need to be there. Okay, third project, I'm making sure that there's more VFX and sparkle and things. And the other parts that I already did are expected. You see, I've raised the baseline every time I go along. So now having the title screen and the menu settings and the on-screen graphics and the fit and finish and the polish is all expected. But you can't go into something comparing what you're going to do to what somebody else is able to do. You can't compare yourself to what somebody else is able to do. You have to compare yourself to what you did last time. You have to compare yourself to where you're at and recognize that you're in marathon training, that your ability to continue on and do more and change your own baseline up higher and higher is going to improve over time and with practice. There's a perfectly good time and place to have a dozen different throwaway projects. You should keep on making throwaway projects just for the fun of it and just to keep the excitement going. But recognize which ones are meant to be throwaways and which ones are meant to be actually completed. You understand the difference there, right? So the thing that happens as I work on one project to the next, not only am I becoming, I think, a better creator, but I also start to get kind of a library of tricks, tips, or reusable things that I can just kind of copy paste or I know how to do already. It could even be code that I can reuse. So reusable wins are really helpful to me whenever that's possible. I'll have code, for example, that I like for using for a camera shake effect. You know, that's a good example. Or I've already got a library of sound effects and I can grab from some of those and use them again. So it speeds things up so I'm not starting from zero every time. I would also suggest that another good thing to do is to mix up what you're doing. Every time you're in game dev, it is a complicated, multi-layered kind of a project. And I talked about in the ADHD waffle brain that you're you get into these different squares, like, okay, I'm in making graphics mode, and maybe I meant to be writing code, but here we are, I'm making graphics today. And sometimes those things are fun for you, and sometimes they're not. I find that when I know that something is coming, I have to warm up to it, and I have to get into it. I have to let myself get into it. NextFest, for example, Steam is releasing Tiny the Last Wayfinder, and you can wishlist that on Steam. I had to get into the mode of getting this demo posted on Steam is about to suck, and it's going to take a lot of time, and I need to get ready for it, and I'm mixing up what I'm doing, but I'm going to do it in advance. So that's another tip that I have for you, is that if something is going to suck, mix up the sweet and the sour, the bitter and the sweet, do them back and forth, do the part you love, but then take just a little bit of time and put a little bit of headway into part that you don't want to do. And plan for the part that is going to be hard. Plan for it. Get yourself, put it on the roadmap of your brain and know it's coming along, and kind of build up to it. When I finally started getting into that mode of, let's get this published on Steam, I knew that I had a deadline coming up and ahead, and I knew that even though I didn't know how hard it was going to be, I knew it was going to be a pain. I knew it was going to be difficult. I didn't know what was going to happen, but I knew it was coming. And I was able to do it in advance and give myself a little bit of extra time to do it instead of trying to cram it all at the last minute. So I think that kind of falls into my last tip, which is managing scope. Managing scope is a really big one. Working on Tiny the Last Wayfinder, which you can wishlist on Steam. Did I say that yet? I had to recognize that I was getting to a point where my energy was starting to get zapped, and I was hitting that 75% wall, and I had to pare back some scope. So managing scope is really, really important. If you feel like you've got the energy to carry on with a project, well, if you pull the finish line back a little bit, it makes it easier to get across the finish line. So as I'm always telling my kids with projects around the house, that your project is not done until you clean up your tools and clean up your workspace. You have to put your tools away. You have to finish the project. So if you're feeling like, oh, I'm tired and I don't think I can go for very much longer, this is the time to stop. This is the time to stop now, because you still have the cleanup to do. Don't wait till you're completely out of energy and zapped on the project itself and you didn't finish the last 25%. So saving some of that energy in reserve is really important. Understanding what the scope really is, and understanding that there's a little bit more work to do ahead of what you were thinking about and wanting to do. So anyway, this is the way I've been adapting my brain to understand my own self and my own work patterns, and recognizing that I need to shift the way that I approach things. But I hope that it helps you. Does this relate to you? Do you connect with this content? And do you have any survival tips that you have implemented yourself? Because I'm sure that will help other people. Thank you for being here. Please check out my game, sub to the channel, wishlist the channel, lick the video, like your mom, and be awesome today. Bye, everybody.